Morning, everyone. I hope you had a good night's sleep. Judging from the empty aisles here, I see a lot of people had some good time yesterday. So the local IBs play a crucial role in the Chinese market, but relationships can be challenging for both sides. This panel will provide a glimpse into the secrets of success, as well as tips for finding the right partners and maintaining a long-standing cooperation. So, Eugenio, please take it from here.
Good morning, everyone. Does it work? Yes. Okay, good morning, everyone. So today we will speak about making partnership work between global brokers and local Chinese IBs. Our panelists include the foreign directors of global brokers, general managers of the local office of the global brokers and IBs, so we can hear all the sides of the story. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Nicholas Vaser from Swissquote Bank. I'm actually from a headquarter heading like sales, mainly partnership in emerging market. So China and Asia being one of our main driver. Of course, through our very strong partnerships with IBs and so on.
Hi, my name is Joe D. From ATFX. And ATFX is having a global business around China, Cyprus, UK, and Southeast Asia as well. And China definitely is one of our very important markets. So for myself personally, I got more than 10 years experience in China and Southeast Asia countries. So hope to share some ideas with you guys.
Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Wang from GKFX. GKFX is a London-based FCA broker, and its office across the European and Asian market. So we also have doing business in China for over 6 years, and so that's why we are here today to share some ideas with everyone.
Hi guys, this is Jasper from eToro. So maybe a lot of you already know eToro is the leading social trading network in the world. And I think I can be a very interesting panels here because compared to AT or GK, eToro is managing like almost 80 or 90% of the retail clients in global, even in China. So it can be a very interesting discussion between like whether we should go for the IB model or go for the retail model. And I myself was also leading the IB team of FXCM in the past, and I was opened up the first office in Shanghai for FXCM. And by the old time, I was managing a lot of IB relationship as well. So it can be a very interesting discussion.
I'm the translator for Mr. Zhang. So Mr. Zhang is IB of ATFX. So he was previously a veteran, and he had been in the financial market for over 10 years.
Thank you. So my first question is actually related to what Jasper just said. So far, most global brokers have used IBs mostly to attract business. So I would like to ask you, why do you think this is the case, and if you think this is changing? Maybe we start from you. Yes.
So this is a very good question, first of all. And as you all might know, like China opened up the, like a lot of FX broker come into China, like already more than 10 years, right? So all the first bunch of FX broker, they come into China, they find out, oh, this is not the same model that they're doing in global. Because in China, it's a human touch market that people trust people. So even though you are like a huge listed FX broker in global, your name is nothing in China, all right? Because people trust people. That's why like 10 years ago when FXM, stepped in the China market, majority of their business is actually IB, okay? So that's why they create the IB system. They have like multi-layer, like master IB, sub-IB system. And that's also why their business was growing so fast, okay? But at the same time, you see the climate has changed. Like again, like gain capital, FXCM, they start to reduce their interest in IB, start to change their business model for like more IB focus to retail focus. So I would say yes, there's some climate change right now.
Kevin, what do you think?
Well, I think actually, sorry, this is a question actually all the European or American broker or all the overseas broker. Sorry.
Speak a little louder.
He lost his voice from the party.
Oh, really? Sorry. I say there's many European broker when they first come to China, they will ask what kind of model they should use is the best. I think IB model is not only actually popular in China, actually it's also popular in Asia market. I mean, not only China, also is popular in the South Asia, in Korea, in any Asian country. I think it's kind of a culture difference. So that's people will more trust the people they know. So rather than they see some advertisement online. So that's why the retail model in Europe market may not very, how you say, be right model in Asia. So that's why at the beginning, when you have no name, when you have nobody knowing, no branding, you have to rely on the IB network to develop market for you. Of course, after years, I mean, like FSCM or Gan Capital, since they've been in China market for over 10 years, or they are globally for already a long time. So they build their brand. So now they don't have to rely on the IB network that much. They can step by step to move to the retail mode. And that might be a trend, but may not be very suitable for the new brokers who want to join the China market.
Thank you. Thank you. There is some water on the chair. Nicholas,
I think maybe to add, also our point of view is we are here for the long run, so it's over 10 years. We are like present through our IBs and partner in China, and I think, as you all mentioned, like I think the best marketing is still, you know, when you have client satisfaction, and basically this is shared through their network, so through referral, word of mouth, and so on, is still the best way to grow the market. So even though you would like somehow to change the strategy, for us, we really rely on our IB, and we're not going to change from one day to another to say, okay, we just remove you from the equation, you know, saving some rebates or whatever. And I think it's very important.
Which percentage of your clients come from IBs? Which percentage is direct?
So, of course, in other markets it's very different. But in China, I think really the great majority is coming through IB and referral.
Has it been changing lately? I mean, is it always been the same percentage?
No, I think it's still kind of stable. And again, when those IB or client gets satisfied, so even, of course, new client who came direct become themselves IB when they share their good experience. So that's why we keep the same level, I think, of introduced business.
Okay, thank you. Joe.
And I agree with you a lot because for myself, I think IB model will still be the majority channel for all the brokers. Because like for new brokers, China is so big. And from every single industry, not only FX, the local culture and knowledge is very different from the Western side or Middle East or with the rest of the world. So you have to be very customized and localized to the market. And even like in the south part of China, it's very different with the north part of China. So even with dialect. And you can do SEM, SEO a lot, but people trust internet not as good as the people they know somewhere nearby. And that's why very important for the service that you could provide to both IB and the client. Whenever your company model and the service you can provide, you have to let the IB to deliver. You can tell them one way, but if the IB, through the IB to tell them, it's 10 times better. That's one thing. Another thing is like, I agree with you, like Kevin said, like even you get a very big name, but people can go through internet. But if people around you, your IB around you, don't say any good word from the broker for you, or they even badmouth you, then it's very hurting the company branding. no matter how much money you're paying on SEO, SEM. That's why IB is very important media when you to do the business in China. And that's one of the major model for us as well.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if Mr. Zhong wants to add anything. Zhang.
Mr. Zhang said that in China market, it must be IB model.
Okay. That's a very clear
I
answer.
have to
Thank you.
disagree with this though, because I'm doing like 80% retail right now.
Jasper will say, let's agree to disagree, I think. Okay.
But I'm not saying like IB model is
No,
not
actually-
important or it's not working.
Lately there have been some problems, right, with IBs, and in general, there have been even some very bad cases. We all know this is quite a sensitive topic. There have been some organized gangs that I will not even call clients or IBs, simply some organized gangs in China, that they just go to the brokers, they do an IB partnership, and then they pretend to be scammed just to go there and physically abuse the local office to the extent that they can threaten the local employees. They can they can threaten to go on public TV just to damage and just to ask for a compensation. So I would like to know if you had any experience with that, or and what do you think it can be done in order to stop this? Why is this happening? Maybe we start from Kevin.
You know he has the most experience, so that's why you asked him
No.
to answer this first, right?
Why jump to meet suddenly? Well, as you say, sorry, my throat is pain. As you say, this kind of situation happen more frequently since last year. But of course, I have to say, I mean, I agree with you. Actually, you could not call them as IBL clients. Actually, some of them do it on purpose. More like it's unlike before. Before, it's really sometimes they really have some maybe broker has some. No, I cannot say mistake, but error or bug, and the client really have their needs for that. So, they don't understand it. So they don't understand clearly about slippage, these kind of things. And now they more do it on purpose. But I would say most IBL clients are still normal or good. Like we have thousands IBs and 10,000, more than 10,000 clients. So if you have several IB, like 3 or 4 IB, that's less than 1% of your overall base. So
but what can be done in order to try to filter this issue out, prevent it even before it happens? What kind of measure can be done to tell a good perspective IB from a troublemaker?
Be honest, it will be very hard to select or judge because everyone, when they come, you cannot tell they are good or bad. But of course, you can ask their model. For example, you can know if they will have a problems. For example, if they trade for clients, if they guarantee client profit, you can, and their trading styles, you can make some questionnaire to prevent. But of course, you cannot stop them because if they do on purpose, they will find a way to do it. So that's not like say something you can never, avoid.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. But everything comes for a reason. No one wants to make trouble for nothing. So I guess communication is very important. When you contact an IB in a discussion, you meet each other. Of course, before cooperation, everyone they always show their good face to you. But during the communication, during the business happening, you need to talk to them. You need to visit them. Let them to visit you. Through the visit, not only you can see the company, where are they? Is there a very is there a decent office, or is there some place that they can move overnight, or how their staff talk to the client, and understand their business model is very, very important, and understand what's not happy and what they want to be improved. I think this kind of situation must be some problem, stay for a long, long time unsolved, and it trigger something like this. And you can't 100% prevent it. I think one of the major reasons it happened in the past half a year is some of the trading product in China, they are stopping. So people are a lot of IB from other products, for example, oil or other product in China, they go to FX industry, and they are not that sophisticated or experienced in FX market. And it make them, if not good communication between broker, it will be a lot of argument and trigger this sort of problem. So communication with each other, education, and solving the problem immediately, I think it definitely can prevent a lot of things like this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think having still some kind of proper onboarding process for us, we're really looking for partners and IB bringing some added value. So as you say, education. So still, it's important to see that your partner will bring something to the client. And then having a transparent business model, being fair with client, fair with execution. Everything can happen, we know connection, whatever, but then it's also the company, the broker to assume, and not having, we all know some of the business model, P&L sharing, whatever, which is not really for the client interest in the long term, can bring those type of problems. So as long as you are really transparent and you're good with what you're doing, I think you can avoid as much as possible those kind of issues.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to ask to Mr. Zhang, what are the main points of attrition with the global brokers? What are the main misunderstandings? What is it that he thinks these guys, this Lao Wai, really don't understand about the business?
Not enough money.
Or we can let Mr. Zhang to speak on the microphone.
Yeah, you can speak in the microphone when you speak Chinese, so also for our Chinese public, please. Thank you.
解决这个问题有3个问题，第一个问题就是资金安全的问题，这个通道通不通，对不对？第二个问题就是这个交易环境的问题，如果在交易的时候，这个下订单的时候下不了也好，平仓平不了也好，就会引起误会。第3个服务到不到位的问题，服务好不好？如果客户中途有什么情况以后找公司找不到。 公司没有电话，就是个邮箱，是解决不了问题的。就以上这3种问题，就导致了，和代理商有很大的摩擦。就是我是大多的一个代理商这样的。
So there's 3 main things that cause misunderstanding. The first thing is the concern of security of fund, whether it's withdrawal or depositing. The second one is the trading condition. When it comes to trading, whether able to actually execute the order immediately. Those are the trading condition or environment that causes the issue as well. And the last thing is actually the client support. When there is a problem, where they're able to immediately reach out to the client support and to solve this problem. So those are the 3 that Mrs. Zhang thinks is causing misleading or misunderstanding or conflict.
Okay, so likewise from the, let's say, broker point of view, actually this is more for Jasper and Kevin. Since you are always caught in the middle between your clients and the headquarters on the other side, what are the main aspects that you think, okay, our headquarters should really understand this and they still don't get?
All right, so I would say, the key to, as a good managing director, all right, is communication, all right? So it's communication between the headquarters and also the local office. I think a lot of FX broker like global come to China and then they form a team, hit and run. is because they don't have the good communication with the MD, and the MD didn't translate the culture to the even higher people in headquarters. So you have to bring them to China. All right. So see the IB, great with the IB, and then you have to explain the culture to them. For example, I bring like your CEO to the table and drink the Chinese white wine multi with IB, then they will know much better. So I would say communication is very important.
If they drink too much, then they forget what they learned.
Oh, this is Chinese culture, right? You don't need to remember too much, right? Just drink.
Kevin, what do you think?
Firstly, I agree with the IB Mr. Zhang. He said the 3 key points. And sometimes for the international broker or global broker, actually they have a confidence about this 3 points, about the platform, about the money safety. But sometimes they do not, react to the clients because they are confident about the money safety. But the problem is you have to show to the client, not only you present by yourself, actually you should give the confidence also to the IBs, not just what you believe.
How?
So, for example, like Ms. Zhang said, sometimes when you're trading, you have you will face some problems. So you have to solve it more carefully. For the for the global broker, they will see, it's quite normal actually for any internet platform. It might face a problem, so it's a quite common thing, and they think it's normal. So they also think the client should understand it. But actually, it's a client will think, okay, they will doubt whether it's you do it against the clients or you don't want them to make money. So they will, start to suspect anything. So you have to plan very carefully and then do a fair judgment or even a composition in a fair environment to make them believe in you. So, but not sometimes say, okay, it's when I talk to UK guys, for example, they normally will just say, it's very common. They should understand your clients should be educational. They should understand the market well, blah, blah, blah. But actually, you do business, you face lots of different clients. You should give them confidence. You should give them the trust, but not only by a meaningless mail. So we have to call them and explain carefully, and even to give some fair judgment. So make them believe in us. So that's and that's all. That's what Jasper called communication. So that's we'll say what we do in middle. So we are like a bridge, link the headquarter and the client. So we translate their language to the language client can understand and to make them feel secure.
But how helpful, for example, will it be to have the foreign director to the foreign CEO or anyone to spend 3 months, 6 months in the Chinese office just to better understand? Or you think that after 2 weeks you just want them to just go back?
I think if they first come to China, they should stay here longer so they can learn about China culture and they can learn many things. But of course, they will have lots of questions. Actually, I think the most important is how much this foreign CEO can trust the local management team, because the culture will be very different. So sometimes it will be very hard to explain how our China culture or China habit to a foreigner, because you live in a different environment. So, but if you trust the people, you give them power, so they will do it for you. So that's, I think, the successful company, a successful broker, they trust and they use the local management well. Foreign CEO, they will make the decision. They will do a final decision. But I will suggest and I believe if they give this, they listen to the local management and give the decision power to them.
It will work better.
Yes.
I think one more point I want to add from the company perspective. I think internal monitoring is very important as well, because for the model, even though as Kevin mentioned before, there's some questionnaire or some email communication, you have to make sure you got it documented For example, IB say like their business model is not involving wealth management or trade for client. And this client also send an email to us or proof that there's communication showing that there's not under company's allowance to do so. If something, they tell us one thing and they do another thing, then that's out of the company control. It's maybe the IB responsibility. So at the end of the day, client if not happy, and we will try our best to protect client side, and we try our best to show all the proof that we communicate, make sure we do proper monitoring or risk control. And I think at the end of the day, client will understand if there's some troublesome IB to do some shady stuff. I think that's a way to protect the company and protect for the client as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from your side, for example, Nicholas, what was the biggest challenge when you I mean, in dealing with IBs? What is something that you had to change from operational and marketing point of view in order to better accommodate the needs of the IBs?
So basically for us, I think it's important even from headquarters to understand the different level of understanding of the market, different level of education, so you don't, especially in Switzerland, we have quite high level of educated traders, so for them it's quite obvious, how a deal will be executed and so on and so forth. When you go to emerging market, you need to understand they don't have necessarily the same level of understanding. But I think for Swissquote, what's proven to be successful is even though we have a presence, in different countries, like we have an office here in Hong Kong, we always kept also people in headquarters. So for example, we have still a Chinese team working out of Switzerland, and the same, we have an office in the Middle East, but we still have people from the Middle East in the headquarters. So basically, we're also mixing up this culture in headquarters. So it helps also because I think as communication, to communicate with our Hong Kong office, they still have people in headquarters. They can understand and get the culture and explain this culture for example, to compliance, other department who may not understand, like payment system or, typical issue you can face when you work with China.
But for example, from technological point of view, is there anything that you had to change in order to better work with IBs in terms of connectivity, IB systems? And
I think as long as you have MT4 already, you're quite good. So, of course, we have also local server. We try to improve the connectivity. But this, again, Swissquote, you have to understand it's a bank, but it's really an engineer bank. The two founders were like a polytechnician. So I think as far as technology, they really try to focus and get to suit the need of any local market.
Before the panel started, I gave each of them a list of 10 selling points of every broker, and I asked them to pick the two most important and the two less important to succeed in China. So I will ask them to answer this question. Just for your understanding, the list of selling points were the regulation in a top jurisdiction, having a local office in China, simple onboarding client due diligence procedure, fast payments in and out, IB commission calculation system, fast execution, quick support, tight spread, large marketing budget, and having MT4 in their offer. So starting from Mr. Zhang.
我认为我作为个人代理商来说，有两个最重要的是有顶级的监管和交易金额的执行速度。最不重要的就是这个有大量的市场推广预算和这个地检查问题吧，地检查。
Mr. Zhang said that as a IB, the two most important point is the regulation in the top jurisdiction and the execution speed, the fast execution speed. The least important two are the marketing budget, in a large marketing budget, and also tight spread. Those two are the least important.
Okay, I'll quickly go over a bit all this, all right? So the top regulation, I think, is going to be less important in the future.
Okay.
Especially with the MiFID kick ins, right? I would say eventually the IB will ask you, do you have a small license that I can use higher leverage? Okay. So I would say like the top regulation might not as important as before. Okay. And a local office, yes, because as I said, like in China, it's a human touch business, right? So the clients want to see the IB, and the IB want to see you. So a local office is definitely very important. Simple onboarding procedures. This is exactly what eToro is good at, right? So right now, 80%, 90% of our clients is using mobile, right? So you can use your mobile to register. You can use your mobile to start to do the KYC. You can use your mobile even to deposit, okay? So the whole account opening process is within like 10 minutes in eToro, okay? So this is exactly the thing that we have. I think it's very important. Fast deposit withdrawal, I think like pretty much everyone sharing almost the same payment company, so I don't think that make a difference. The IB calculation system is super important, okay? So the reason why FXM was so successful at the first few years in China, because they have a really good IB portal, okay? So a Chinese language IB portal, different layer of payment, like the master IB, sub IB system, is going to be very important as well. Customer service, I would say tight spread is not something that I would go for. Because it's just like, if you go for the tight spread, eventually that will kill the IB market. Because the IB don't get enough rebate, and then they say like, oh, I don't have enough rebate to pay my staff. So I don't go for the tight rebate. And marketing. Actually, marketing is very difficult in China because, you have to spend tons of money in SEM in order to make it work. And the media right now is, I have to say, the media quality is getting lower and lower in China. I know there's a lot of media over there, that's why I'm saying that. So it's very difficult.
Then I will ask them to make a question to you.
Yep. But I have to say, like, again, talking about the culture in China, right? So we have a lot of successful case in global doing affiliate, right? But affiliate is not working in China. So I would say that's also because of the culture different. The media is not willing to do KPI, deal. They only want to take money, and then we don't look at the KPI. I think that's also something that they need to change in the future. MT4, I would say yes and no, okay? Because in the past 10 years, FXM was trying to do like TS2, but TS2 is failing in China. That's why they're struggling MT4, TS2, MT4, TS2, eventually MT4. But MT4 also a problem because like everyone is offering MT4. That's why there's no differentiation. So,
but actually, that might be one of the reasons that is might be a requirement in the sense that okay, because eToro doesn't work with much with IBs, but many IBs. Actually, about this, I will ask
I will leave
Kevin
this
to
answer
continue,
to Kevin. Yeah, but I would say differentiation is going to be very important. And why eToro in the retail market has been very successful is because we are not using MT4. And we have a differentiation, like even though our spread is high, I can tell you my spread on euro dollar is 3 pips. Who offers 3 pips right now in the market? No one, all right? But clients, they say
some IBs.
Some IB maybe model, and but again, like I think differentiation is very important in the future.
Kevin.
Okay, so it means you should stop because you said you already make everyone cannot say anything else. You say you told all
that's
the
only my
you
own
say 10
opinion.
points. They just ask you to make 2, and then you speak of them all. So you make us you told everyone that what we want to speak. So
you have
nothing
your
to say
own
now.
opinion, Kevin.
Yeah, just joking. But I think, I think different broker will have a different opinion for this kind of key point, because eToro is mostly retail. So of course, the key point or important point for you is different with IB model broker. Okay, so first to answer Eugene your question, so I think the most important key point from this point is
yes, Kevin, just to clarify, my question is of course related to working with an IB model.
Yeah. So I would think the quick support and the answer flows and fast deposit and withdrawal will be more important because,
Sorry, can you say that again?
faster deposit and withdrawal and the
Okay.
quick support.
Okay.
Because all the all the broker are in overseas, so thank you. So all the broker are in overseas, so clients are very worried and they deposit money outside China, so they were very worried about their money safety and they has been response. So faster deposit and withdrawal can make them have less question, and if the deposit and withdrawal period longer, it make them start to worry about their money. So everyone is care their money safety first, and then it's about the profit and loss. And secondly, if you respond quick, so you will avoid any miscommunications. So if you don't respond, like Mr. Zhang said, if you only get an email, you don't get a phone call, you cannot reach a person, you will start worried. Okay, is the platform run away? Can I get my money back? What bad thing happened to them? So I think these two are most important for IB. I mean, it's also suitable for IBs. IB will worry about their clients, their commissions. So I think these two are quite important for IB model. And for the less important is a tight spread. I agree because.
From tomorrow, everyone here will be offering 12 pip spread in China, I think. Okay.
Yeah, I think reasonable spread. Not only tight spread will is not that important, and also the large marketing budget. I think the marketing budget you have to spend in a more efficient way. It doesn't. It's not say you spend as much as possible or as much as you could. It depends on what result you get. So, for example, several years ago, there's a broker want to join China market, and then of course at that time, Iron FX is very, popular and very powerful and very success in China market. And he asked me how to be as success as in Iron FX, and he said he had $10 million marketing budget for a year in China market. Okay, I say okay, but it's not about how much money you have, but how do you spend in a right way. You can spend $10 million, but I believe most of the money you will throw in the sea. It doesn't work out like that way. Say, I spend 10 million, I get 100 million back. It's not like simple as that. You have to spend very carefully in the right direction. So I think that's not, but of course, all these are important. But I would say if you definitely let me to select, that would be what I select. And,
Okay, sorry, Kevin, I stop you so we have time to.
Yeah, so,
Thank you.
Okay.
For myself, I got a little bit different opinion. I think still, as always, the regulation in top jurisdiction is very important, because no matter for the client side, for the IB side, the very first question, even you got a lot of supporting or whatever, they will still concerned about the fund safety. This always be number one. And of course, the reason ESMA or MiFID II changes push a lot of business to away from Europe. But still, you may be able to use other offshore jurisdiction, but still they require the company in the whole group, they will need to have a strong regulation as a whole group. That means they trust the company as a whole because they have different regulation. So they may possibly willing to go to offshore, but having SCA, for example, or having ASEC, having other strong jurisdiction is always one of the very key elements for them to trust.
So let's say that in the end, the safety of the funds is guaranteed more by the brand rather than the jurisdiction.
True.
In the sense that the large broker regulated in UK will not want to screw up their operation in Seychelles because that will affect their overall brand.
It makes a big difference. For example, if a company they have FCA and also Mauritius, for example, compared to a company don't have FCA, just a Vanuatu, for example, it makes a huge difference, right? Because they worry that you run away overnight. So top regulation is still very important for the cooperation of the IB.
Tell us about tight spread now.
Tight spread, I agree it's not less important because IB, they need to make money. They make money from rebate, from commission and markup. There's still some part of the IB they may offer like 6, 7.
Too much.
Yeah, too much, and it's less important for that. But also, fast deposit and withdrawal is very key. The key. I think one of the reasons why we do very good is like we do the same day withdrawal and deposit, same day. So you get a good service, and once you take withdrawal 2 hours or 3 hours, 4 hours later, receive money. That's very good.
Last, please, Nicholas, because we are running out of time.
So basically, of course, being a Swiss bank, so for us, strong regulation is really key. I think no need to discuss further on this. Another point, still, as we discussed, a quick support answer, like to any issue, I think for us is very important. Now, I think the least important, definitely large marketing budget. I think the budget should be kept for a rebate budget more than marketing, like direct marketing, obviously, if you want to target IB.
Thank you. I think we are running out of time.
And just maybe a last one is for us. Still, again, being a Swiss bank, the onboarding was always a hassle. We need original documents and so on. But it still has proven that it's not a hurdle to develop Chinese market. And especially now, something which is quite new in the Swiss jurisdiction, we accept digital account opening. So even though, to have a Swiss bank account, you can still do it now digital, just with your mobile phone, doing a video. So that's also a strong push, but has never been such a hurdle for us.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you everyone.